Hi, Bob. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Congratulations to you assume tomorrow the presidency of ASCRS. So,
thank you so much.
Congratulations. So a few questions about cataract surgery. Femtosecond cataract surgery arrives and stay. There are many people that are interesting, but they don't have the equipment yet. What do you think about? What do you think about the future in the next years, or the future in the next years?
Yeah, so a great question. We've had the opportunity of working with the femtosecond laser since February of 2011. And along with Zoltan Naj and Steve Slade, we had one of the first units in the world. And initially I was thrilled with it, and came to find that the earliest programs that were present with this and the techniques were good, but we've made so many improvements since then. So now I can say that virtually all the capsulotomies are complete. Its ability to fragment the lens is much better than it used to be. The corneal incisions are unbelievable for astigmatism management as well as primary and secondary. Even early on, I made a prediction that in a period of 5 to 10 years, I expected that the volume of procedures performed with the femtosecond laser for cataract surgery were going to be markedly increased, and I think that is happening. Now, in addition to the LensX models, there are many other companies that have excellent femtosecond lasers out there, and more people are adopting them and using them on more and more of their patients.
Do you think phaco will disappear in the next 3, 4, 5 years and replaced for just irrigation and aspiration with the femtosecond?
Probably not that short of time, but with the improvements that have been made so quickly over the last 3 or 4 years, I do think it is a reality that we'll be able to fragment the lens with the femtosecond laser and go to maybe a wider bore aspiration type of tip to remove the fragments.
In how many % of your cases are you using it?
Right now, 40% of my patients are done with the femtosecond laser. And probably that would be a higher percentage were it not for the fact that the patients have to pay privately out of their own money, not covered by insurance for this technology. And it is expensive.
If not, you will use it in 100% of your patients?
Close to 100%. There are some patients where it's not best used, patients who've had radiokeratotomy, have corneal opacities, patients who are not real cooperative, sort of the same as with a LASIK procedure. They have to be able to tolerate a suction docking and keep their eyes still.
Okay. What about presbyopia surgery? Intraocular lens, inlays,
right.
What are you using, or what are your indications for presbyopia?
So first off, there has to be a desire of the patient not to want to wear their reading glasses. And being a person who is married to his reading glasses, I understand the desire to get out of the glasses. But not everybody is like that. Some people like to wear glasses. They like the way they look in glasses. So in that instance, probably not necessary. But I would tell you that today, if I had cataracts and were to have a cataract removed, I'd be putting in a lens to reduce or remove my presbyopia. The lenses we have currently that work the best, at least in the United States, would be the diffractive multifocal lenses. We don't have as wide a variety of different presbyopia solutions as we're seeing in other countries, which is one of the reasons why it's important for ASCRS to align with other similar organizations if we're to stay on the cutting edge of these technologies.
It's interesting. It's possible to work together in the future. We have other procedures, trifocals, that are not approved yet by the FDA. Some legs also.
That's correct. I mean, in the United States, we have yet to be able to implant a multifocal toric lens. So that's a problem for us. I do think that some of the segmented bifocals and the trifocal lenses show some real promise. But I think in the long run, the Holy Grail, and you probably would agree, would be a truly accommodating lens.
Yeah, sure. I think so. Yeah. Talking about astigmatism, there are new devices like Rio and Callisto. We're using some of them, but they're the new device that the orange.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's interesting? Is something we'll afford?
Yeah, there's no doubt that the surgical guidance systems are helpful. Most of them are still relying on anterior corneal curvature to determine the alignment for your implant and for the magnitude of the toric implant. And the improvement that we get from that is very nice compared to physically marking an ink mark on the eye and estimating where that lens needs to go. So systems like Callisto and Varion are really, truly helpful. However, I've fallen in love with the Verify, the Aura, which was the orange. Mm-hmm. In its earliest stages, it was good, but needed a lot of improvement. And today I will tell you that if a patient is receiving any kind of a advanced technology lens, be it a presbyopia correcting lens, or be it a toric lens, I will not do it without using aberrometry. The results are that much better. We recently, and I'll report at this ASCRS meeting, on a study where we compared in contralateral eyes using toric calculations from the company's toric calculator system online, comparing that to Aura with Verify. And we had 13% more patients with less than a half a diopter of astigmatism remaining when we used the aberrometer.
Yeah, interesting. Good. Last question. Some tips about refractive, cataract refractive surgery? Your tips?
Tips. Well, the most important thing is patient selection. And that involves a patient who wants to be out of their glasses. With the technologies that we have available in the States, that involves, if we're going to achieve that, some level of compromise at distance or near or intermediate. And if the patient is given all the compromises versus the benefits and feels it worth it, then number one, that patient may be a good candidate. But there are other things that could make the patient not do well with these lenses. One would be irregular astigmatism. 2, higher order aberrations. 3, macular pathology that will prevent good vision. And 4, if they have a lot of vitreous debris like asteroid hyalosis or other corneal opacities such as a significant amount of gutata, in those patients I shy away from a presbyopia correcting lens.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's very nice to see you.